Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Living with Grace podcast. We are so thrilled and excited to have you with us today. Anna and I are so grateful to have you along. And today we are talking about our thoughts. We're talking about how our thoughts impact our daily life, how they impact our experience. We're talking about what some people refer to as thought work. I kind of like to think of it as a thought practice or even a thought routine. So we're going to dive right in. I want to say hello to my friend Anna and welcome her in. And Anna, let's talk about thought practice, thought routine, thought work.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, my sweet Mary. We are here today to share some research and some knowledge and some experience from our own life and our own routine about our thoughts and feelings and emotions and how they can impact our lives and our days. And you're going to be so surprised on what everything we're going to share from research and science based, and also how you could really work and focus and shift all the thoughts and feelings and emotions for the benefit of your life in building a life that you deserve and living with grace. So with that, I want to give the word to Mary for her to share amazing, amazing content with you and with me together.
Yay, thanks, Anna. And so, yeah, we're talking about thoughts. We're talking about how our thoughts shape our experience, thoughts about who we are, thoughts about our past, thoughts about our future. And the idea of thoughts and thought work, is really nothing new, right? I mean, the ancient philosopher Lao Tzu coined a quote that I've always loved, that always resonated with me, that I always shared with my kids. And you may be familiar with it. It goes like this: watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character because it becomes your destiny. And I loved that so much that I have a funny story to share about that. When my boys were in high school, my daughter was probably already in college at this point, but I used to inspire them during high school to do their best and help them along with character and things. I used to, in the middle of the night, or when they would go to bed, I would go into they shared a bathroom, and I would go into their bathroom and I would write inspirational things on their mirrors,
Oh.
things that resonated. And this is one of the things that I would write on their mirrors from time to time. And they really liked it, but they did kind of
Oh,
share with me that the practice that I had of writing things on their mirror could be kind of creepy when because they would wake up in the morning and go into their bathroom and there'd be like writing on the mirror.
oh.
But you get the picture. I did it because I just wanted to start their day off with a good thought.
I
So
think I feel it in my heart. It's so sweet, it's so beautiful, it's so caring. It's really a mom's heart giving, man, that's protection, that's building a safe place for them. I love it.
uh,
I- And what I like about what you said, your thoughts, like in your code, you start watch your thoughts, and then your thoughts go up to the end of the line that becomes your destiny and become your life. So again, that's the importance of what we are talking today, and that's the importance of building that foundation to your kids, because everything starts in your thoughts. So if you go to the root and you start working on the root, you start paying attention and being aware on the root, which is your thoughts, you're definitely going to create a different life, which is what you're saying, a life that we deserve, a life that God, the creator, the universe has in store for us, and a life with grace. So, yes. I'm eager to listen to all you have to say. I
You
love
are,
it.
but you are exactly right. And I love that too. I love what you added because, it's in your terms. I love you talk about building your life, right? And it's how you build your life is how you manage your thoughts. And, what I love or what bears this out, which is so interesting, is that I found some research on this. And the first thing that I wanted to share was the study that was done in 2005 from the National Science Foundation. They published a study, and what they found was that the average person has about 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. And of those thousands of thoughts, 80%, 80% were negative and 95% were repetitive. They were exactly the same thoughts that we had the day before. So every day, most of us are thinking overwhelmingly negative thoughts, and then they're the same every single day, day in and day out. We're thinking the same thoughts, and they're mostly negative. I think that's staggering, isn't it? And then,
Absolutely.
I know. And then in 2001, another organization, the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, conducted a study that revealed a default mode of brain function. So our brain has this default mode function. We essentially have this default mode, which is active during passive rest and mind wandering. How often does our mind wander, right? When we're in this mode, we're thinking most often about ourselves, our goals in life, and our relationships with others. So think about that. When you put those two studies together, the first study says that we're thinking the same thoughts, mostly negative, over and over again. And the second study says that when we allow our minds to wander, which most of us do, that we're thinking the same, that we're thinking thoughts about ourselves. So we're thinking negative thoughts about ourselves overwhelmingly every single day.
Yes.
And that's where self-abuse comes to play.
That's
So many things we say to ourselves, and I know that everybody can identify with this. Some of the things that we say to ourselves, we would never ever say to another human being. We are so tough on ourselves, and we're not even aware of it, right? We just day in and day out, we just let this go on and on,
yeah.
and it's like a ticker tape that's running, across a television screen,
Yeah.
just, over and over and over
You scream,
again.
you're right. It's screaming at you bad things all the time. You know, it is.
It is.
It's horrifying. And you said something about it's self-abuse. And I like to remind myself, because I was in an abusive relationship before, I like to remind myself that it always starts with me too. The way I treat myself is the way I am allowing other people to treat me. So if I'm telling myself I'm not enough, I am not confident, I am, overweight, or I'm ugly, or whatever or I'm not smart, or the imposter syndrome, whatever I'm telling myself, because I'm thinking, right? It's the way that I am showing up somehow to the people around me, and I am allowing them to treat myself the way I do it, right?
So
And
true.
and one thing that you said, it's about like the brain being in a negative mode. I just remembered that from med school, like your brain develops, our brain keeps developing, right? And our brain develops when we are in our mom's womb. And then we form the frontal and prefrontal cortex, which are the reasoning and making decisions. And yes, so I don't want to go deep on that, but there is one area in our brain called amygdala, and the amygdala in our brain is the area that is responsible for these emotions, and it's in alert, it's the caveman brain that is residual. And what we are going to talk and what Mary is talking is like these thoughts and emotions and feelings that are in alert all the time. It's the amygdala. So the practice that we are going to discuss, it's a way of calming the amygdala, telling your brain, telling your heart, telling your body that you are safe, you are well, you are loved. And yes, we're going to keep talking. Go ahead, Mary.
Well, that brings me back to that second study that I was referring to, right? About the default brain mode. Well, we
Yep.
have that default brain mode because that is our ancestral,
Yep. The
kicking
amygdala.
in. It's the amygdala kicking in, because we're thinking about ourselves, our relationship. We're looking for danger. We're always, assessing. And again, we've talked about this before, in that our brain is trained to look for the negative because that's where the danger exists. So it's trying to protect us. And you said that, when I think that is, so true. But, the thing is, if we're saying all these negative things to ourselves and abusing ourselves, and then, we're weaving stories about not being good enough, not being capable. And, it's no wonder so many of us, walk around feeling unworthy and not good enough, because we're reinforcing that every day because we're not consciously aware of what we're thinking. It's just kind of running rampant. And the thing is that if we're so rough on ourselves, if we how can we show up, for others that in our lives that we love and we want to be there for? How can we show up for them when we're not showing up for ourselves? So that is so key and important, and something that we really, if we want to show up for our loved ones, we need to show up for ourselves. We need to put that oxygen mask on first, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's like
Um,
you have to fly. And I love that. It's first love yourself. First love yourself. I really love that.
right, right.
And again, like Mary said from the beginning, the love for yourself and the love for others, it all starts in your thoughts. It all starts in your thoughts. The thoughts are the base of the pyramid, or the thoughts are the base of the iceberg. It all starts in your thoughts, and then it keeps building up. Thoughts and words and behaviors and patterns, and then what's going on at the top, how you are how it's your actions, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and so we weave stories, right? We weave stories about our past, our present, maybe our future, and they're just fraught with self-criticism and negativity. And I think it's when we're in that kind of loop and we're in a rumination, we're not necessarily aware of the idea that we don't have to think those thoughts, that thoughts really are just thoughts. It's the feeling that we attach to those thoughts that is, what is creating either our peace or our pain or our mood. It's what how the feeling that we're attaching to our thoughts that is really causing, or causing our experience.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this, Anna, you and I, that that thoughts are they're just thoughts that are just kind of in the back of your mind, like that ticker tape. But we don't necessarily have to hold on to thoughts. We can let them go. Not every single thought is productive. Not every single thought is true. And we don't have to believe every thought that crosses our mind. And we don't need to invite every thought into our homes for chips and salsa.
Exactly. Yes. I love what Eckhart Tolle says, like, uh, we are like a blue sky. Our soul is what we are. Our soul is in our bodies. We are a soul. We are not a body, right? We are a body with a soul, not So our souls are like the blue sky, like Eckhart Tolle says. And the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions are like the clouds. And they can be good or they can be bad. But again, they are the clouds. They're going to come and go. Doesn't really matter if they are good or if they are bad. In fact, I don't like to use the good and bad word. I like what Gary Zukav says. It's like what what is causing pain and what is causing peace. And what you said, it's so important about the body, like the feelings that we attach are how we are sensing in our bodies, right? So the body is your compass. So whenever you are feeling something that is not, doesn't feel peaceful, doesn't feel loving, doesn't feel like calm, this is your body telling you, hey, stop a little bit and let's evaluate this situation. Let's evaluate what's going on because it might not be true, right? And most likely it's not going to be true. And you can you can just change the direction of what you are doing at that moment. Yeah.
It's true. And I think that, and we're going to talk about this later and in the episode that's going to be a follow-up for this, is that, just because you're thinking a thought doesn't necessarily make it true. And as I've already said, and, with practice, with
Daily work.
intention, you can begin to uncover thoughts that you're not aware that you're thinking. And, and it can be so interesting. It's actually can be eye-opening, it can really be eye-opening and almost, I would say almost even funny, because I've gotten so attuned to it. And if I can say, I've gotten so good at catching some of these things that I actually, one of two things can happen. I'll hear a thought, it'll come and I am so shocked by it, maybe the negativity of it, that I go, oh, I'm like, stop, or I hear a thought and it's so self-abusive that I laugh, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I caught you red-handed saying
Yeah.
something so negative, and I'm just like, I'm on to you, so
Yes.
I think it can be a really interesting, eye-opening experience to begin to be aware of what you're thinking.
I
So
think you can see it like as a game. I'm playing the game of recognizing the intrusive thoughts. And these intrusive thoughts are not mine. They are from the caveman brain. They do not need to be real, and I do not need to give them significance. I can catch them, and it's a daily practice. It's like one step at a time, one thought at a time, and just have fun. Just like Mary said, when I tell myself you are not enough, I can just stop and laugh and say, hold on a second, I am enough. I am a wife. I am a widow. I am a child of God, and I am a doctor and I work hard and I talk to others and I give from my heart, anything you are doing just by being a child of God, which is not just, you are a child of God. So you are enough just by that. You are enough just by that. So just laugh at whatever comes to you and reframe it and just tell your brain the truth. Like, oh, you are overweight. I tell myself this. And then I tell myself, you know what? I am working on getting better. I am working on exercises. I am working on my sleep. I'm doing my best, like Don Miguel Ruiz says from the Four Agreements book. I'm doing my best. And that's it. I reframed it. You don't have to agree with everything that comes to your mind, and you
yes.
can definitely reframe everything that comes to your mind. I used to say, like, for every thought that come to me, I heard this from a friend a long time ago, maybe like 20 years ago. It's like, okay, if I would say that in a court of law, would it pass? You know? And
Is it
if it,
true? Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
right.
yes.
Yeah, that's the work of, oh, I can't think of her name. Um, Katie, Byron Katie. When
Mm-hmm.
when a thought comes into your mind, is it true? Is it valid? Kind of
Yep,
deconstructing the thought, which is a great practice.
yep,
But I think that, yes, having fun with it and finding, I think and we're going to talk again more about this, but I think beginning there and finding the things that aren't, or that you can notice and you can call yourself out on is a great way to start, because what I think happens is that you begin to be aware of deeper stories, right? The deeper stories about who I am and what my experience is. Okay, I know that oftentimes you and I will bring up our grief journeys, but that's part of our story, and that story, and that's okay. But you know what? Sometimes really it depends how I'm framing that story, even the story of my grief, which can bring me either pain or peace. It can how I frame the story of my journey has such an impact on how I feel today, and therefore how I'm going to feel tomorrow. So I think being able to become aware of what we're saying to ourselves about certain circumstances or certain pieces of our lives, and then seeing the bigger picture and the bigger story that we're weaving, does it really serve us? Are we telling ourselves how hard something is, how terrible something is? Again, there are those negative thoughts that would our default thoughts, and not to say that that's not necessarily true, or that things aren't hard. I never want to encourage anyone to repress or deny, but at the same time, findings, when you're looking at something that does feel challenging, difficult, hard, you don't want to you don't want to stay stuck in that narrative, so that it creates more of that too. It's like, and if it does feel hard, I guess the question is, how can I make this easier for myself? What would be a thought that I could think that would help me to shift that perspective? So
yeah.
I don't know, I'm just gonna kind
I
of,
love that because I love looking at my life, and that's what I would say for each one of us to do is like when something feels really hard or painful, or when I feel that I'm stuck, or when I feel that I'm in the black hole, I just say, okay, let's take a deep breath first and let's feel it. Let's recognize what is the reasoning for that. Maybe there is no reasoning, it's just the fear, right? And the doubt, and again, the thoughts that are not real. And are they going to pass in a court of law? And look back, I don't know how old are you, person who is listening to this podcast here with us, but look back. I'm 53 and I'm here talking to you. So I have endured many things. And whatever you are enduring, you have the strength to keep going because you have endured similar things before, or you have endured worse things before. And all that you have lived so far, the measured progress, all that you have lived so far is just giving you and I more tools, more resources, more knowledge, more friends. Hence, we are here together holding hands, right? And I firmly believe that it's being kind to me. It's just, okay, it's one step at a time, it's 1 second at a time. And yes, it's probably going to be painful for a while, whatever it's hard that I'm going through, that it's real, not only thoughts and feelings and emotions. It's a situation that it's real. Just hold on to the certainty that you are alive. It is a bigger plan. and you have endured similar things before, and you have watched out for the thoughts and the feelings and reframe them and shift them, because it's the duality of life, like death, being alive comes together with dying at some point, and peace comes with pain, and pain comes with peace. It's like the movie Inside Out that I haven't watched the Inside Out 2 yet, but the Inside Out, the first one, I watched again yesterday because I loved it. And it's not about having joy 100% of the time, or fear, or anger, or disgust, or sadness. It's about walking with all of them and shifting from the ones that are heavier to the ones that are more productive for your life, but also giving each one of them a place in your life, because they all have their own reasoning to exist. They are alert systems from your body. Like if you're feeling fear, it could be from something that could be really dangerous, or it could be your default, and you're going to have to realize, okay, how could I walk through this situation, right? And it could be something that it's just in your thoughts and in your caveman brain. So it's time to breathe in and tell your brain, I'm safe, I'm loved, and just take a leap of faith. And only your body and only your soul will recognize all of these feelings, all of these emotions, and will be able to evaluate each one of them, if they are real, or if they come from conditioned patterns from childhood, or if they come from your caveman brain. And then you're going to use the techniques we're going to discuss in the next episode, and you're going to be free. You're going to feel like, oh my God, I am becoming the person who really, really builds the life I deserve by freedom of all these feelings and thoughts and emotions that do not belong to you, that belong to your caveman brain. And you just can watch them and let them go. And the ones that are good, enjoy them, because unfortunately they will go too, and you're going to be in the duality of life, just flowing like a symphony. It has the ups and downs of the song, but it's what makes the song beautiful and melodic, right? So that's what you're doing.
It's what we came here for, the whole thing,
Yep.
all of it.
And do we have anything else for this episode?
No, I think
We're
with
gonna move
that,
to the next one
I
with
think with that,
happiness and joy.
I think, yes. And I think that on this note, this is a great way to wrap this up.
Yes. And let's keep being curious about life, and keep being curious about, feeling and shifting. And again, it does not happen in a blink of an eye. It's an exercise, but it should be an exercise of fun. And that's what we are here to do. Help you walk through all the feelings and all the emotions in a fun way that you're going to be building your freedom and living with
Grace.
Yes.
So on that note, thank you so much for being with us. And we look forward to being with you again very soon. Take good care, and I'm wishing you so much love, peace, and grace. Bye-bye.